Welcome to my life as an NPC. I am Scythe, and I have, for the 21st thousand something time, fucked up my recordings. So this is going to be a much faster video. It's going to be 3 episodes of Coffee Talk, because I forgot to record my voice. Yeah. So that's where we're at. But before we go into the video itself, I want to also talk about the fact that I was banned for the second time on YouTube. So I don't know exactly what I can do about it more than completely censor everything. So I can't post any links to the games that I play, well, some of the games anyway, because they are too not there for YouTube, and I can't partially censor the videos either, because that is also not enough. So I'm going to completely remove everything from YouTube from now on, all those scenes, and I will be re-uploading all my first videos as well. So you're going to see a lot of videos that are old, but I will also name them re-uploaded, so you don't watch the wrong video. So now that we're in Coffee Talk, where I'm going to review, or rather put commentary on everything that I did, so you know what I was doing and what my reasoning behind everything was. So we start here with Freya in the in our coffee shop, Coffee Talk, and she wanted me to review her novel so far, and she did not enjoy it, or rather she does not enjoy my review, and she is kind of upset about it. And here we have Gala, who just wants to have a coffee, and if I remember correctly, he wants me to fix his Fury brew, if you will. He asked me to put in some tea and ginger and something else, up to me. And then I did just that, and it appears that I failed that somehow. I actually spent a lot of time questioning what the hell was going on. I couldn't figure out what I did wrong. Did I not use tea? Did I not use ginger? But now that I look back at it, I believe I brew him the exact same coffee as the first time, which means that I did not follow his guidelines, which was something new. Yeah, it really does suck. And now Baileys is also arriving, and we managed to give him a perfect brew of what he wants. And just like how Lua was taking advice from Mr. Hyde, Baileys is taking advice from Mr. Gala about their relationship, and it basically turns out that elves are these super elitist type of people. You only can accept some special lines of work, can only wear certain clothes, can only marry certain people, and so on and so forth. And since Freya is making this book about a human-only world, and she needs to translate everything she's encountering somehow, I concluded that she is basically writing this world that we live in at the moment. And not only that, but that each race might actually have their own nationality or ethnicity. And that made me think that elves maybe are Asian and even Japanese, being with a basis of stereotypical stereotypes, honestly, with elves and Japanese people being the model immigrants. I honestly can't know if that is what they were going for, but that is what I managed to pick up so far. And after that, we also talk between Baileys and Gala about Baileys' relationship with Lua, which is basically that Baileys is perfectly fine with leaving his entire family alone, and for this, Mr. Gala responds with, this is going to give a lot of consequences, not only for you, but for everyone that you interact with. First of all, you're going to need life insurance and health insurance, because you are a non-immortal elf. Once you leave your family, they will remove your immortality when you leave them, which made him think a lot. Just like in the United States, Mr. Gala gives an example of an $8 pill actually being charged for $20,000. So they have the same kind of difficulties that we do here on Earth. Oh yeah, we also get the backstory of how Lua and Baileys actually got together. Essentially, it was Baileys having a friend, and for story reasons being called Cognac, and Cognac had a girlfriend, and that girlfriend had a friend, and she was called Rose, also a succubi, and Cognac was an incubi. So Baileys wanted to get with Rose, but after a lot of working on that, it turned out that Rose and Cognac was actually owning each other, which was something that his girlfriend and Baileys found out at the same time when they were walking home to Cognac. And in the end, it turned out that Cognac's girlfriend was actually Lua, and Baileys got the shit beaten out of him from Cognac because he was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu trainer. So Baileys got stomped to the curb basically, and because of that, Lua decided to take care of him and also leave Cognac for good. And after that, Lua and Baileys became a couple. So that's the story of how they got together, which is really, really nice. But back to why leaving your family is a bad thing. Again, Mr. Gala is giving the advice here, and he was basically talking about what it's like for werewolves. There is nothing more important to werewolves than their pack. They are extremely family focused, and there are other races that are like that as well, and maybe Lua and Succubi and Incubus, I would assume they are the same kind of race basically, but Succubus at least, might have the same thing. Extremely family focused, and she can't fathom the idea that someone would just leave their family behind. And also the fact that there will always be some kind of dissonance between them, because Baileys in the future could end up holding this over her. I actually left my family because of you, Lua. And this is a fear that Lua might have actually, according to Mr. Gala, which is really true. And the fact that you have to sacrifice something for the people you love can end up being the reason why you hate them in the end, which sucks ass. But I was making the commentary that you might have to leave people behind either way. In this case, Bailey's family, high-strung elves, are extremely racist and don't accept change or other races at all. When you have people like that in your life, you need to leave them behind you. And in this case, Lua is basically just the reason why he would do that. But either way, Mr. Gala is pointing out the fact that your life is going to severely change, and you will have to think completely different if you leave your family. And Lua, who might be extremely family focused, can't understand and is afraid of the consequences of what it would mean for you, for Baileys, to leave his elven family behind. And in the next episode, we meet both Mr. Hyde and Mr. Gala, and we talk about how they got to become friends, honestly. About several years ago, it turned out that Hyde was a bit of an idiot. He was supposed to invest a bunch of dwarves money, but since he put them in the stock market and it all crashed, and because the fact of dwarves being in the mafia, he got into a fight with them, and they were beating the unliving shit out of him, and thus he just basically dragged Mr. Gala into the fight altogether, saying, "This is my bodyguard, you have to fight him as well," which did not turn well. He survived basically. And after that, Mr. Hyde was also extremely inebriated, extremely drunk at the time, so he couldn't drive home, and he was too drunk to remember where he was living and tell the taxi driver. So Mr. Gala took him in for the night, and basically Mr. Gala, being a big, strong, muscular guy, Mr. Hyde decided to hire him as an actual bodyguard, which he did for quite some time. And then we get into Mr. Gala's history, or rather we don't, because he's not comfortable talking about it. And then after a while, as you can see, Freya arrives and she is on very good terms with Mr. Gala, but not with Mr. Hyde. But she does have a good banter with him, though. They can joke back and forth and just basically be dicks to each other, which is actually kind of fun. And then Freya asks Mr. Gala what his job actually is as a admin at the hospital, and he explains that he has to take care of both people and the economics, or rather find a balance between those two, and he's perfect for that because he wants to help people, but he doesn't get too close to them. So he managed to find a middle way between those two, not thinking only about the people and giving them exactly what they need, ruining the business, but not also only seeing the business and ruining people. And we also find out that he's been doing the same job for 50 years, but he always deny a promotion. He loves being where he is, and he's not going to change that. He does get the raise, and he's doing a great job, and he loves his job. So he's happy where he is. That is exactly what you need in life. Doesn't matter how high up on the corporate ladder you can get. If you're happy where you are, you can stay there. It's perfectly fine, as long as you're able to live off of it as well. And then Mr. Gala goes home for the day, and Freya manages to get a few extra words out of Mr. Hyde about what's going on with Mr. Gala's history. But what we managed to gather from what Mr. Hyde is telling us, he won't give us all the details, but basically Mr. Gala was working in the military, and since he's a werewolf, he got a very physical and most likely brutal job. So he most likely had some kind of PTSD from working with it. And after getting back from the war, not sure which war actually, they never mentioned that, just the war. But after getting back from that, he continued to use his muscles and brute force as for his future jobs. So maybe he was an enforcer, maybe he was mugging and robbing people, we don't actually know. But thanks to Mr. Hyde, he eventually managed to find a reason to start working with medical admins instead. And then we have the alien entity, now known as Neil, visiting the coffee shop, and he asks Freya and Hyde how one would be able to breed with a person from Earth. And they basically go over the fact that most people on Earth needs to have a boyfriend or a husband in order to breed with them. And Neil, not understanding Earth culture, asks Freya if he can become her husband right off the bat. And so they have a little discussion about what it means to court someone on Earth and things like that. And we're also on a mission to make a tea that can make Neil feel something, since he doesn't have any kind of taste. Neil does not believe that we are capable of doing just that, but we'll see. I believe it's possible. This is depending on if he has a corporeal body or not, of course. And Neil also explains that he is on Earth because of a job. Breeding is part of his job description, as far as I understand it, but he can't exactly explain what his job is about, or how the mating ritual, or rather breeding ritual, would be, because it's all secret information. And as a part of this cultural exchange between alien and Earthling, Neil makes a very profound question. If it is true that people of Earth are mainly monogamous and only mate with one person throughout their life, then why is there overpopulation issues on Earth, if that's the case? And Hyde just says, well, people are dumb, we cannot control their urges, and the government can't control us either. And on the third day we get a special intelligence kind of agent from fire instead of ice, looking for an alien in a spacesuit. But we ain't no snitches. We ain't telling them that Neil is a regular here. We are instead tricking this this fire agent that an alien in a spacesuit, isn't that a bit too obvious? Don't you think people are just being dicks with you, and that this alien might not exist at all? And he believes us and just leaves without ordering anything. Dick. And then we have Miss Myrtle and Miss Aqua in the coffee shop. And I really do believe they're going to end up as a couple sometime in the future. That would be really nice. We make a Marrakesh for Miss Aqua. And this is the part where I really messed up badly. Miss Myrtle was ordering something, a fantasy brew of some sort that we have no information of. A thé tariq. And I, for the first time ever, actually had to throw away a bunch of different orders, because I was hoping to find something called a thé tariq as I was brewing it. I didn't though, so I had to give her something, and she hated it. But she continued to drink it either way. I felt really bad. They can't just throw something at us without giving us the recipe. I was so upset about that. It really sucked. And yeah, this is also the first time that we get to see Miss Myrtle truly upset and angry, and giving her the wrong coffee drink is not the only reason. She and Aqua actually talks about an expo that that Aqua is going to attend with her indie game, and since it's so different from the normal games, she doesn't know exactly if she will be attending, because she doesn't know if her product is good enough, and she's scared of meeting people and things like that. And then Myrtle says, I will help you fix a good demonstration of your game. I will help you put up a good demo, and you know what? I don't want you to feel afraid being there all alone for several days. I'm coming with you. And that's it. She was actually getting upset about this. I will follow you to the expo. I was going to visit there anyway, so now I'm going with you. You need to just deal with that. And then Rachel Florencia shows up, and so does her father, Henry. And she's a bit I'm not sure what her mood is here exactly. But she's going to be on Coachella. But since she's being announced with such short notice, it means that she's just a backup. And she was a bit down about that, but I reassured her, telling her that, dude, as long as you get there, you're going to have a great following afterwards. It's going to be amazing, Rachel. Just amazing, just don't forget that. And here we have Henry. And Rachel is actually very quick with saying, right after this drink that you're having, you need to leave. But he just wants to be here, talk with his daughter, talking about the dangers that she's in with being with the wrong people. And she, being a stubborn teenager, says that you're afraid of everything. I can take care of myself, and the business is not the same as it was 20 years ago. And I agree, my father does basically the same thing, afraid of so many things. And well, yeah, that's all there is to it, basically. He keeps on warning me about things, that how bad people can get sometimes. And I agree with Rachel on the fact that my dad does not know what he is talking about. But in this case, I actually have to go with Henry, saying that this one person that you're working with, Rachel, he's not good. He's going to take advantage of you. And because I have informants on the inside in the music industry. I am still part of the music industry. I know that even if the things have changed, that man has not changed. I just don't want you to be hurt. But Rachel refuses to listen to that, basically. And just pushes him away, saying that even after 15 years living with my mother, you still don't know how to talk to me. And just pushes him away. And Rachel says that I have to do this and I can't stop right now, because then people will forget about me and I will become irrelevant, which is something I can kind of understand, actually. In these industries, especially when you have a online persona that you need to keep up with. You have to stay relevant at all times. You can't let up in the beginning. You have to keep on moving forward, and that sucks ass. But Rachel is not wrong in that sense. And after a while, Henry comes back, and we just have a nice little chat, him and me. And he talks about why he's no longer in the music industry that he used to be in. And it just turns out that after meeting Rachel's mother, they decided to take an easier path of life, which they can enjoy, and they are able to live off of. So he is no longer in the music industry, but he does run a little record store. But he is considering going back into the business so that he can be Rachel's manager, basically. She shut down those ideas, but he is still considering going into the music industry again. And those were the 3 episodes that I failed to record properly, which is pissing me off so badly, because after so much time I just thought that my recording instruments would have some kind of standard settings already that would remember how I record my sessions. But yeah, and so it's going to be a bit different from now on with these episodes, because this was 3 episodes. This was planned for a month and a half, and it all goes down to this 1 episode. And that will be it for this episode. I'm kind of disappointed in myself, but I will keep on going strong. One mistake does not destroy my entire career here at YouTube. So remember, just because you're not the main character doesn't mean you're not important. Goodbye, everyone.